This video is to show how to make a new tournament on the Berwick Virtual Bridge Club on BBO. So what we've done first of all is log in to BBO as the virtual host SBU_E_BER. And what I'm going to do is show you how to create a tournament, a new one with the right settings. I'm also going to show you a second way of doing that, which is the one I normally use. And then I'm going to cover how we create the Swiss teams tournament for the Tom Woodman. So first of all, we're going to create a new tournament. So we're going to go to the Director tab and we're going to click Create Tournament. And we need to give it a title. I'll normally say Berwick, maybe we'll say Calder Martin, and we'll give it a number, whichever round it is of that trophy. A welcome. This is the message that comes up to everybody when the tournament starts. So I normally type in welcome to the 5th round of the Calder Martin, and I'll say that Stuart is directing tonight, if he is the man who's directing. Most important is the description, and here we use some special tournament tags to control the behavior of the tournament. So the first one we put in is all avail, and we put it in plus marks followed by a space. All avail means do not start the tournament until everyone who has registered is online. Sometimes people register and then they log off and then they come back later, and occasionally they'll be late. What is normally the problem is someone is waiting to play, their internet connection has a blip, and they'll just go off for 5 or 10 seconds, they'll get logged off BBO, and if we did not have this tag, then the tournament would start and they'd not be able to play. So it is an important one to put in. The other one we put in for all of our pairs tournaments is plus howl. And this means use a howl movement which produces a single winner. It also stops Swiss pairs and rematches and anything like that. It just gives us a single winner. And for the Berwick tournaments, which are typically 20 board tournaments, I also put in rounds 10, which means we're going to have 10 rounds. And you'll see when we do the format that we're using 2 board rounds. The reason to use the rounds is to stop the BBO howl movement doing something that it thinks is safe. So it may change without the rounds 10. It could change the movement if we had a small number of pairs from a 20 board to an 18 board movement because it thinks it provides a better howl movement. So we don't want that to happen, so we put plus rounds 10 in. The other tag I put in is plus HD. Now, we don't allow robots in our tournaments, but occasionally we'll put them in if someone suffers a internet connection problem and then just disappears. And what HD means is if there is a robot at the table, then it won't declare any contract. The real partner will. So those are the 4 tags that I typically use. And then I'll put a description, a more descriptive thing in that goes into the description of the tournament that people see when they come to register. So I'll put things like for members of the Berwick Club and SBU guests. So then what we do is choose when the tournament's going to start. So we'll suggest that the tournament starts on Boxing Day at 7 o'clock. So we're at 2 o'clock now, so that's another 5 hours, and we'll move that up 1. So I know I'm going to add another director now. So SBU_E_Ber is the main director, but we're going to add a subsidiary one, and that's Stuart's BBO name. So he now can also direct the tournament. The format is pairs. It's not an individual. It's not Swiss teams. Then we have the format. So we're going to play 20 boards. We're going to give people 7 minutes per board, 2 boards per round. So this is why we've put in the rounds 10. We're playing 2 board rounds and we'll play 20 boards in total. As I said, without the rounds 10, BBO system may decide, well, I'll run 6 3-board rounds instead of 10 2-boards. So we don't want that to happen. The movement is always clocked. I wouldn't change that. The scoring for the quarter martin is imps. We leave parameter checked so people can see their scores as they're going along. And we use random deals. We only use saved deals for simultaneous pairs events where the same boards are played all over the country. Now in the options tab, now this is a little contentious, but we do allow kibitzers at our tournaments. You'll find in a lot of tournaments these days, certainly national tournaments don't allow kibitzers. We have a lot of club members who like to watch the tournament even though they're not actually playing. And what we do is allow kibitzers silent. So that means they're not allowed to talk to the players, but they can watch. We do allow undos. As per the SBU regulations, we allow undos in the bidding but not the play. And we also allow the players to chat to the tournament. This is needed when we have a playing director, or certainly helps when we have a playing director. And then the final tab is entries, which is quite important. So we don't normally have 40 pairs enter a tournament, but there's no reason why we can't set that to 80. We do not allow people to enter our tournaments with robots, so you must uncheck that. Now, the type of tournament, this is a special code for the Berwick Club, BBVN. This code won't work for anybody else. It only works for Scottish virtual clubs, and it means that all the money goes back to the SBU. You could not use this as on your own personal account. First of all, it wouldn't work, and even if it did work and you were able to charge people, all the money would go to the SBU. So it's not a lot of use knowing that. Then we put in the entry fee for the tournament. So we normally charge 200 BBO cents or 2 BBO dollars. A number of clubs use 4 BBO dollars, so we use 2. The other thing we do is restrict the entries. And what we do is we include custom lists, and this is the list that is in this account's list of people who are allowed to play. I update that regularly, weekly, with the SBU list. So now we've done everything, we can create the tournament. So let's just click create. And we see there we've created Berwick Quarter Martin 5. It's going to start on Tuesday, the 26th of December, so it's not really going to do that, at 7:01. So maybe we'll edit the tournament. So I just clicked on that. Go to edit tournament, go down to the time, check it down a minute, and we'll modify it, and we'll see it modifies here as well. So it's now 7 o'clock start. That's 7 o'clock BBO time, as you will all have noticed when tournaments start. It's within a minute or so. So that's all you need to do to create a tournament. But I also said I'd show you how I normally create tournaments. And as you can see, we don't have any tournaments running, but we do have some pending. We would have if BBO was there. That could be my internet connection. There we are. It's there now. So we've got a tournament on the 26th and a tournament already in there for the 2nd of January, which is a real tournament. So you can create tournaments up to 2 weeks in advance. So what I normally do if I'm creating a new tournament is I use one of the existing ones and copy it. So let's take the Calder Martin. We'll edit this tournament and we're going to copy it. So let's suppose the next Calder Martin was within 2 weeks of today. So if I copy that tournament, you see we get a new tournament that's just a copy of it. It's got a higher number. And I can change this again. So let's say that's going to be the Calder Martin 6. And if you see I modify this, the name changes here. But obviously I don't want it running on the same day. So let's change it to a different number of days in advance. So 9 days would make it. Right, New Year's Eve, 7 o'clock, we could run a tournament. So if I modify that, you'll see that the time has changed. Now I can change lots of things here. So if I didn't want it to be the Calder Martin, so it's more likely it's going to be something like the McDonald next. So maybe it's the 5th round of the McDonald. I then have to change the welcome message to reflect what it really is. So we'll say McDonald, and it's going to be the 5th round of McDonald. It may be that Stuart is not the director for this. Maybe it's Jane Smithson. So we'll put Jane in as the operator, as the playing director if she's playing. Everything else can stay the same. You need to make sure whether it's an imps or a match points tournament. So you can change it depending on which tournament you're actually setting up for. Now, as it happens, the McDonald is also an imps tournament. We still play 20 boards, 7 minutes per board, 2 boards per round. The other options don't need to be changed, and the entries are fine as well. We still include. So if I modify that, you'll see now it's become Berwick McDonald 5. It starts at 7:01 on New Year's Eve, and it is another imps tournament. So if you wanted to change this tournament, you just need to go in, click on it, edit, and then you can change it. So if we wanted to change it to match points, you can do that, and you can do that at any point up to the start of the tournament. So what I'm going to do now, because this isn't a real tournament, I'm going to destroy it. So I'm going to clear up after myself. So you just click on it and it just checks that you want to destroy it. And it's the same for the Calder Martin on Boxing Day. I'm going to destroy that tournament, confirm I want to cancel it, and destroy it. So now we've just got the Calder Martin that is running on the 2nd of January. The final thing to show is creation of the Tom Woodman tournament, which is a Swiss teams tournament. So you can't generally copy this. You'll need to create it afresh. So this is the Berwick Tom Woodman. It might be the 4th round. The welcome I'll put in later. That's not needed now. Tags, all avail to stop people not starting when they've been registered. It's a Swiss teams. We don't need to put anything for that. We should put HD in as well. And we should put how many rounds. Actually, we don't need anything else in there. We just need avail, all avail, and HD. Now, I'm going to start this Christmas Day at 2:09. The format is Swiss teams, and I'm probably going to be playing in it, so I'll make my normal BBO ID so I can do directorial functions while I'm playing if I need to. Format. So for the Tom Woodman, we have 10 teams. So we're normally going to run 18 boards at 2 boards a round. So we're going to play 9 2-board rounds. And if things work perfectly, then you'll play every other team. In reality, the teams at the very bottom of the scoring table may play each other occasionally. The scoring method, we use VP20, and then when I download the results, I change it to WIMPs. Options are the same. We allow silent kibitzers, we allow undos, and we allow chat to the players. Entries, 40 entries is plenty. We take off the robots. We put the special code in, which allows us to charge for it, and we say 200 BBO cents. And we include a custom list. Now, I actually changed the list that's used for this tournament to restrict it to Tom Woodman players so that other people from the club don't inadvertently try and play, because that will mess up the movement, because we want an even number of teams to stop robots playing. And then we just do create tournament. And that's all there is to creating the Swiss teams. If we've made any mistakes, or we want to say welcome to the Tom Woodman when the tournament starts, and I normally say for Tom Woodman teams only, and then we modify that and people will see that. So that's all there is to it. I hope that's easy for you to understand. You can see what we're doing, and you'll be able to create tournaments in the future if you need to. Let me just destroy this so I leave it as I found it. If you've got any questions, just drop me a line. If you need any help, just give me a call. I hope that's been useful.